This video is going to be all about simple packaging tape and some scraps. Come join me. Okay, first we are going to grab the tape and we're taking some off. I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not really measuring it, and instead of putting the sticky side down, I'm putting the sticky side up. But in order to let it stick to my surface, I should stick it down with some other tape. This I could use the same tape, but I just add this. Let's put it down, and I'm putting this one down. And I'm not going to tell you what we're going to make. You'll see at the end of this video. The only thing that I told you, grab some tape and grab some scraps. Well, I'm putting some scraps down here, up here. And for this one, I am not going to use transparent, or not as much transparent papers, but I'm going to use every other paper that I have with scraps. And I'm just sticking them on here. And I don't mind if they just stick out a bit, because we can correct it later. I'm just putting on a different kind of papers. And you see sometimes they overlap. That's absolutely fine, but if they don't stick, you can grab, for example, a glue stick or matte medium. But the fun thing about this exercise is that you don't need much. So I would use matte medium, also because I want to seal it off later. I'll show you, but you don't have to. You can just stick it down. And I'm grabbing whatever. It's a weird shape. Taking pieces off when it's so it's easier to stick down. And you see now I'm using pieces that were from old collages, old artworks, but you also see me using old books. So you can do this with whatever kind of scraps you have. This is actually an old magazine. So this is white. Well, I'll save this for later. Maybe white can be fun to make the colors pop later on. Now I'm just trying to put all these down. And I'm sort of doing it randomly. Yes, I'm doing it randomly, but I'm also checking out if it will stick on top and at the bottom, so it's sort of lined up. If you have to add more, it could be difficult at the end, but I'm just putting them down. I wanted to say I'm grabbing random colors, and I'm actually am, but the scraps that I grabbed were apparently all purple, green, and pinkish. But it wasn't on purpose. Take this off. Put this on. Same color as the tape, but if you want to put it in there, it's fun. Nobody knows what the color of your tape is. So put it on here. And again, some glue to make it stick on top. And I am going to speed up this video, because I think you know what the drill is by now. see me using these overlapping shapes here because it creates new shapes, and I like it, all those small and tiny pieces, not only to get into the small creases here and there, but also just to give it some kind of extra fun vibe. And you get those weird shapes, something you would never have imagined you could cut yourself. That's the fun thing about scraps. And you just let them overlap and do its own thing. And now this is getting kind of dull, so I like to, because it's all pink, purples, it's all the same value. So that's why those white or black and white pieces are fun to add. I don't have a weird shape here, I see. But if I just add something like this, the page will pop again. So I like to do it randomly and see where it takes me, but sometimes I see, it needs something. I'll just add just a little to it. I think I just have all the small pieces. Well, I'm just gluing this one because it's a really small piece. I think I have everything covered now. And I used the glue stick to tape all those little edges down, like for example over here. I didn't do this one, but if you hadn't, you could also grab at, well, during the process, but I usually do at the end of the process. You will grab, for example, your matte medium or your PVA glue, but I think matte medium or Mod Podge works best. And I'll just, oh, I won't open. I haven't used this bottle in a while, I think. Oh. But of course, I have a bottle here of glass medium. That will work too. And I'll just put it on top to seal it. You don't have to, but then you don't have those little things poking out. And you have some kind of extra layer of protection, because this is not your final project, of course. It already looks fun, and you could use it as is, for example, in your art journal, or just keep it because it's fun. Oh, this one was sticking nowhere. No, well, then we don't need it. We are going to do something extra with it. We're going to let this dry, and I'll come back to you. And of course, you know me by now, so I'm not actually going to let this dry. I am going to make it dry, and since I have my hair dryer nearby, I'll just grab the scraps side because otherwise it will blow everywhere. I'm going to do this, and I'll mute the sound for you. Okay, well, it's more or less dry, so we can take this off. And there are two things you can do. You can leave it, or you could actually like paint on the back. Ooh, you don't have to. I can take this tape off, but I'm going to cut the tape off so my edges will be straight, or I think they're more or less straight. I'm not really measuring them either. I'm taking these things off. They're poking out, And when I'm just trimming off, you don't have to trim off. You can leave it as is, because now we have this strip, and I am going to make this strip into a booklet. Yes, a booklet. And I'm going to fold it in half. I'm folding it like this. Well, it should be straight. It's not really straight because I didn't really cut it straight. Fold it again. So I have a booklet already like this, but I think I want to have it smaller. And then this one wasn't really that handy because this was already a collage piece, so it's more or less cardboard. So I'm just trimming it up. Okay, it works like this. And I'm going to put this in there. Then we should actually, how can we fold it? Like this. I'm just doing now something. I'm getting this crease and a fold and make it to the other fold, and then fold it here. So you, yep. Okay. This, I'm doing it. Yes. I made a zigzag, and you can leave it as a zigzag, especially when you painted the back. But if you haven't, you could actually glue these sides of your tape. It's weird to put glue on your tape, but put them back to back. And like I said, I wasn't really measuring, and maybe they're not really straight, but I don't really care. We're going to make a fun project out of this. Yes. Okay. And now I have a fun, small, little booklet. And with this booklet, I can leave it as is, of course. But I could also grab my, let's say, acrylic markers, for example. I could do whatever I want. I can say, this is just a cheap acrylic marker. I have ones that are more beautiful, but since we're doing scraps, I can do the scrappy ones too. And we can embellish it, for example, with, I should have put maybe a thinner line. Micron would be better. And I could just add some mindful things to it. Or I could say, no, I'm not going to do like this. I like to add it more figurative and not as mindful. And I'm turning it, for example, into a flower. You could also do this with paint, of course. Well, I dried it a bit, not too much, but, and I could just keep on adding things that I want to add to each page. And I know it looks sticky now, but that's just because I didn't dry the medium well enough that I covered it with. The medium was completely optional. If you would just have glued everything together, it would be fine. You don't need the medium. It just could be helpful if you wanted to have it more sturdy. You don't need to. If you don't have matte medium, don't use it. And if you don't want drying time, don't use it either. This can be your journal as is or your booklet as is, but it could also be your next art journal in which you can add things. You can actually add, for example, add this here. I like the rough edges, but I'll do it like this. But you could also say, no, I want to make this into a mini diary, or I want to give this to a friend and I want to write some messages in here. Possibilities are endless. Have fun with this small little book, and hopefully you can make yourself happy or give this to someone and make that other person happy. So much you can do with scraps and tape. Oh, there's something I forgot to add, because this is a fun booklet and I don't mind if it has a bag like this. If you don't like a bag like this is where your tape can come in handy, or the other tape that I was using, because you can just give it a spine. And what I usually do, I'm just putting it like this one. I just put it in half, and now if you can see through it, it's like half, so I can just put this one aside and give it another half. Your pages can still open. As you can see, they will still open, but you have a spine that looks a bit neater. Of course, I have to trim this. It looks a bit neater. It's maybe more sturdy, but again, you don't have to. Just have fun with your little booklets. I think I'm going to make another one. Thank you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to this channel if you want to get updated about all upcoming creative experiments. And please tell me in the comments, what should I do with scraps next? See you next time.